You cannot meet every expectation that is placed on you every day. It's not possible. But that's not exactly the message we are getting, is it? The message we're getting is that we should always achieve, we should always progress, we should always be perfect. We should be the same today that we were yesterday, if not a little bit better. And we should be the same tomorrow, if not a little bit better. The expectations remain the same, whether they are expectations from work or from family, from your partner, right? There is always this expectation of you. There's even expectations you put on yourself. But how did you sleep last night? And how is that affecting how you feel today? Maybe you had some news today that really excited you and gave you a boost of energy. Or perhaps you had some news that kind of brought you down. Is today a high pain day or a low pain day? Like, you have all of these things that influence what your capacity is, what level of output you're going to be capable of producing today. But you are consistently under pressure to be consistent. Is there any wonder you're going to be hard on yourself or be overwhelmed? I'm going to suggest that this is a problem. There is not a problem with your planning. There is not a problem with your discipline. There isn't even a problem with your capacity. But there is a huge problem with this expectation of consistency, and that these expectations don't change when your capacity does. So the expectations, they're sitting up here, but maybe today your capacity is down here, and there is this gap. And who's left absorbing that? Oh yeah, that would be you. Welcome to The Feminine Duality, a podcast for midlife women where we heal from burnout and we learn how to take charge of our crazy time again. This is the 4th episode on nervous system friendly planning, and I don't know how many episodes it's going to end up being. It's going to be a lot. This is the 4th one. And then I do episodes on other things as well. But in podcast episode number 6, Lazy versus Overloaded, we talked about the identity piece around being a procrastinator. I wanted to crack open this idea that just because you haven't ticked off everything you thought you should have ticked off, I want you to recognize everything else that you also do. That it's so easy to focus on the one thing that didn't happen instead of looking at this massive amount of stuff that just get done because it's how you as a woman function. And then you don't give yourself a pat on the back, you don't give yourself recognition, you don't say, whoo, boy, am I amazing or what? You see, oh, I didn't do that one thing, I failed. In episode 7, You're Playing a Game You Never Agreed To, we explored ideas around what is actually yours to be responsible for anyway. We talked about the fact that yes, there are responsibilities that are fixed. There are true non-negotiables in your life that need to get done no matter what. And then you have a lot of structural obligations like work and paying bills on time. They are there because of the society we live in, because of the system. And finally, you have absorbed responsibilities. And these are the things that you've taken on because you've seen them. And you know that somebody needs to do them, and you carry this good girl conditioning with you, right? So if I see it, and if I'm capable of dealing with it, of fixing it, of doing it, then, oh, wow, now it's my responsibility. And then you've never stopped and gone, hang on a second, is this actually mine? But in that episode, I was inviting you to really look at everything in your life, everything in your to-do list, and go, does this belong here? Or does it belong with somebody else? And then in episode 8, Planning is Not the Problem, I invited you to put yourself on your to-do list. What is it that you want? What is it that you need? Well, make sure that goes on the to-do list, because if your to-do list is constantly about the other, if something happens, there is no you left. This is where I was. I had my work persona and I had my persona as the family project manager, and then I left my husband and I lost my job, and there was no me left because nowhere in my planning was there a section for me. So that's what I'm going through in that episode, is putting yourself on your to-do list. And today we're going to talk about why life still feels impossible after all of that. Okay, so I'm not a procrastinator. I don't need to beat myself up about that. Great, fantastic. Feel much better already. Thank you very much. Fine. I have a lot of assumed responsibilities that aren't actually mine, and it's not as easy as just dropping them necessarily, but I can start working on shifting them back to where they belong, bit by bit. Cool. I'm allowed to do things for me. Wow. Nobody told me that, but yay! Go me! Go team. But I still feel overwhelmed. I'm still drowning. Yes, honey, of course you are. Of course you feel like that. Because you still believe that you have to show up consistently every day. You still feel that you have to keep up with the expectations that are constantly drummed into you. And these expectations, they don't stop. And they are around everything. It's not that you have one area in your life where there's an expectation. It is everywhere and it is force-fed to you. I mean, go on social media, just scroll through your Instagram feed with a bit of a discerning eye. How many things are you being told that you should be able to do and it should be really easy? I realize that I am possibly tripping myself up here a bit because yes, I do use Instagram. And now I'm saying go to Instagram and use a really critical eye. You are very welcome to be critical about my Instagram content as well, by the way. But I feel like there's an awful lot about the things you ought to do, the things that should be easy, yes? And here I'm now sitting and saying, you know what? You really should give these expectations the finger. Here's what you should do. Oh, are we going to be able to recover from this and get back into the episode proper? You can't get away from it. It is everywhere. You should brush your teeth for 2 minutes, but obviously you have 2 more minutes to floss before, yeah? 2 minutes is not a big ask. You have 15 minutes to do a quick reset of your home every day. You can find 20 minutes to help the children with their homework. 1 date night a week with your partner. That's not a big prize for a solid relationship. To put aside 1 night a week, you and your partner. It's not a big ask. You only need 30 minutes for this workout. You've got 30 minutes. Make sure you take that time to go out for a walk. It's only 20 minutes. You've got that, right? I don't know about you, but I'm starting to run out of minutes. But I'm certainly not running out of expectations of what I ought to be able to do to be a good, decent, successful, winning human being. And then when have you won? What is actually enough? When have you reached this pinnacle of perfection? Because the goalpost keeps moving. There isn't an enough. When you've reached one level, you're expected to reach for the next one. I was in a meeting last week at my daughter's school, and we're talking about my disabled daughter. This was her annual review. We were going through her EHCP, Educational Health Support and Care Plan, which is her individual plan for how she's going to go through school. Okay? It was a very long meeting. I'm absolutely certain it did not need to be 2 hours long, but there we are. The joys of having a special needs child. Nothing is ever quick and easy. My daughter has targets. Of course she has targets. She goes to a school. The school has targets. They have to write these individualized plans for each and every one of their pupils, and they then have to be able to prove that they are following this plan because that's how they prove that they're doing their job. Okay? One of my daughter's targets is to track a small light with her eyes. My daughter is severe sight impaired. And it's not because there's anything wrong with her eyes. Her eyes are absolutely fine. Oh, here comes the cat. Hello. Her eyes are absolutely fine, but she has severe brain injuries from birth. Her vision impairment is a cerebral vision impairment. It's brain damage. Some days, when she has slept really well and she feels healthy and she's engaged and she's interested, she can follow this little light. On a day when she's tired and unwell, the light doesn't exist. She can't see it. There is nothing to follow, but she has this target of being able to track this light with her eyes. And let's say that she does meet that target consistently, 100% of the time. When the little light comes up in front of her eyes, she will track it. Well, then they're going to set a new target. They're going to move the goalpost. Is being able to track this little light source with her eyes going to contribute significantly to her quality of life? Is that little light making her feel loved, comforted, comfortable in the years that she has with us? I absolutely doubt it. But there's a target and she's meant to meet it, and once she's met it, we're going to move the target and she's then going to have to meet something else. It is never enough. I appreciate that this is a bit of an extreme example, but sometimes you need the extremes to highlight the absurdities in our lives. But you have the same at work. You have your annual review. You sit down with your line manager and you talk about your aspirations, your career goals, how you want your job role to develop, what you're meant to achieve in this year. And then you work for a year and then you sit down for your next annual review and you talk about whether you've met those goals or not. And every single goal that you've met, we move it. Now we need to stretch. Now we need another goal. Now we need to go further. You are never, ever enough. Relationships. You meet somebody, you start dating. Wonderful, great. Oh, but then you're supposed to define the relationship. All right, this is a committed relationship. Fantastic. Oh, we have to move in together. Oh, we have to get married. Oh, we have to have kids. Okay, maybe not, when you're around your 50s, you're probably not going to go down the route of having children together. Me and my partner most definitely are not. But there is still this expectation that you're meant to move to the next goalpost, to the next goalpost, to the next goalpost. And I suppose, tongue-in-cheek, the final goalpost is to divorce, but I don't think I want to go through that one again. It's either divorce or it's grow old and die together. But there has to be a change, there has to be a progression, and there's an expected set of progression. I'm not immune to this myself, absolutely not. My other online brand, Parent XP, my YouTube channel about life with my disabled daughter, a few weeks ago I hit 10,000 subscribers. When I started that channel, I said to myself, if I ever hit 5,000 subscribers, that is going to blow my mind, because, who wants to listen to me talk about being mum to a child with cerebral palsy? Apparently a lot of people. Who knew? And I have now doubled that. And my first thought was, what's the next goal? And then I caught myself. And I'm like, okay, no, just bask in this for a bit. Just go, holy crap, I've doubled what I thought was actually going to be possible. And just stay here for a little bit. I have loads of goals to do with the feminine duality, obviously, female solopreneur. But even there, the message is always, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Sit down, write your plan, have your targets, meet those targets, move the targets. And all through that, we are pretending that you're in agreement with it. When you sit there in the annual review with your manager, they're talking through your targets with you. Does this feel achievable? Are you happy with this goal? Great, now sign here. Sign away your soul. This is with your consent. And then if you fail to keep up with it, well, you agreed to this. Did you actually agree to having the goalposts constantly moving? Did you agree to having a set of expectations that are always up here, whether you are or not? Has my daughter agreed to track a light with her eyes? A bit harder to tell with that one. She's non-verbal. It's not like she can tell us to sod off. And this enough is defined by consistency as well. Even though the goalposts keep moving, it always keeps moving further away. It's not like we ever move it back and go, you know what? Enough is going to be a little bit less. Enough is getting everything done. Enough is no balls dropped. Enough is juggling everything that your life throws your way and doing it with a smile on your face. And we've explored this a lot in the previous episodes. Like, you're meant to go to work and look put together and be put together and then come home and then manage family, manage dinner, manage tidying up, manage washing up, manage walking the dog, manage feeding the cat. And you're supposed to self-actualize your dreams while you're at it. And you're supposed to work on your relationship. And it's a lot. Particularly if you're then adding in 2 minutes to floss your teeth and 20 minutes to whatever it was you were spending 20 minutes on, right? It's a lot of expectations, but you're not enough unless you meet all of them. And there you are, trying to keep up with it all, trying to plan to stretch yourself around it with your Google Calendar and your Notion and your little notebook, trying desperately to reshape yourself to fit around all of these expectations and make sure that you don't drop anything. And on a good day, you can. Hell, even on an average day, you probably can, but it will be a bit more of a stretch. But what about a bad day, when you can't keep up? Well, something has to give. But according to the expectations, nothing can give. It's not that you are inconsistent, it's that you're trying to live a consistent life within an inconsistent reality. You have this one side that stays fixed, the expectations on you, the enoughness, the targets. And then on the other side, you have this inconsistent energy and capacity within yourself because you are human, because you are woman, because you are middle-aged, and because life keeps chucking stuff at you that needs dealing with. Your capacity fluctuates. Some days you are on top of the world, and other days you are underneath a blanket. But the expectations on you, they remain the same, and so you crawl out from your blanket fort and you keep going. How long do you think you can keep doing that before your mind or your body puts an absolute end to it? Before you burn out, properly burn out? Because if you're not able to take yourself out of that race, you will get trampled eventually. Now, if the world is not going to let go of all these expectations, how do you get off the hamster wheel? Well, you're going to have to let go of living up to those expectations. Ouch. Oh, that one stings, doesn't it? Oh, it stings in the perfectionism. in all the "but I have to's" and in all the "what will they thinks." Yeah, it hurts. Making a choice not to live up to expectations, it's not an easy choice to make. And perhaps you'll be tempted to think that maybe there's a way I can optimize my energy instead. I don't have to let go of anything. I just have to be better at managing my energy levels. I just have to be better at managing my capacity. I need to add something else on so I can top up my capacity. And on top of everything that I do, morning yoga routine. How about a green juice fast? And then you add more on top instead of going, you know what? Something needs to come off. The truth is, some days you have less capacity. And it's then your responsibility to choose what you're doing less of.
I actually like seeing how my face changes as I get older, but that doesn't mean I won't care for it. I use Wildmead Cosmetics natural skincare, and it is my favourite collection of skincare products because dry and dull is not the changes I'm looking for. All natural, vegan and pro-aging, Wildmead Cosmetics 5-step care kit leaves my skin feeling hydrated, nourished and more supple, without any harsh chemicals that disrupt my hormones, which is a must during perimenopause. Go to wildmeadcosmetics.com and use code TOVA44475 for 50% off. That's TOVA 44475, or use the link in the description. As an affiliate, I earn money from qualifying purchases.
Can you practice with yourself to say, I'm not doing this right now? And it doesn't have to be big things. I'm not asking you to overhaul your entire life and blow up your relationship. I'm talking about little things that over time add up. A bit like that card game. Sending a card to somebody on their birthday is not a big thing. Keeping up with all the cards for all the people and all the occasions, suddenly it's big. And if you need to justify it, go ahead and justify it. My washing machine has been out of action for 2 weeks. Of course, it broke down just after my daughter and I came home from a 3-day stay in hospital, and she had full-on antibiotics belly. Okay, that's the most glorious time for my washing machine to break. Very kind neighbour let me do a few loads at hers, which is what kept things under control just about until I managed to get somebody out here to repair it. Yesterday, I had on my to-do list to do a load of laundry after I came home from work. And then I decided not to. Not tonight. The laundry's not going anywhere. It is not so dirty yet that it has developed sentient life. I'm not going to do it. Not tonight. I said no. I dropped something. Can you live with disappointing someone? Even if that someone is yourself. Can you give yourself permission to not be perfect? If you can feel the truth behind, you're not procrastinating. You're trying to exist within a state of constant overwhelm. Can you then forgive yourself for taking your sweet time to ground yourself in whatever way it is that works for you, whether that is scrolling on your phone or watching TV or meditating or whatever it is you do, instead of putting away the clean, dry laundry? And not call it procrastinating. Call it what it is. It's nervous system regulation. If you can accept that not all of the responsibilities in your life are actually yours, can you then start toying around with the idea of dropping 1 or 2 of them? If it actually isn't your responsibility, what would happen if you let go of it? If you've made the choice that, yeah, you know what, actually I am going to put myself on my to-do list. I am going to plan in something for me, whether that is rest or a recharging, energizing activity. Did you create space for that by taking something else out? Or did you just shove it on top of and try to now handle even more stuff? In any of these, have you stopped and said, what do I have capacity for today? Is this a 10 things day or a 1 thing day? Is this an outgoing energy day or is it a more introverted energy day? When you're responsive to your energy levels and your capacity, you start being a bit kinder to yourself. You stop beating yourself up for the things that you didn't do. And you start setting these little boundaries. And it's probably that the boundaries for yourself are the most important ones. Actually, boundaries aren't external. Boundaries are not about what the other person is allowed or not allowed to do. Boundaries are about what am I willing to accept or not. And if my boundary is crossed, what am I choosing to do? So practicing setting boundaries with yourself is a very, very good step in practicing setting boundaries in the first place. Okay, but if something has to give, then what is it that gives? Do you have responsibilities? We spoke about that in episode 7, you're playing a game you never agreed to. We spoke about the fact that you have your true non-negotiables, the things that are immovable. You have to feed your kids. You don't get away from that. But you can decide what you're feeding them. Not every dinner is going to be the perfect home-cooked meal. But you also then need to not try and defend or guilt trip yourself for the fact that today happens to be a Burger King drive-thru. All right? You don't need to justify it. You're still going to justify it. I justified it just the other week. But you don't need to. We have the structural obligations, the things that exist because of the system, your work, bills, all of that kind of stuff. And you kind of have to show up for work. If you're working shifts, there is rather an expectation that you are there on time and you do your job responsibilities during your shift. You can't get away from it. In the next episode, we're really going to break down these buckets of responsibilities and how you interact with them and where you can start dropping responsibilities and how to. So I'm not going to go into it too deeply here, but are there ways you can shift how you think about work? If you're working from home, well, you still need to get done the things you're getting done, but do they have to happen at 7 a.m. or can they happen at 7 p.m? What kind of a person are you? Are you an annoying early morning person like I am, who does her best work at 7 a.m. in the morning? Go for it. Do you need a longer run-up time? Well, then the afternoon is your time, isn't it? And the final bucket in here are your assumed responsibilities, the things that weren't actually yours, but you saw that they needed doing and you know that you are capable of it, and because you were the person who noticed it, then you end up being the person who deals with it. The example I gave in this episode was when I started making play dates for my grown-ass husband, because he wasn't getting off his backside and arranging time to meet up with his friends. That wasn't my responsibility. Okay? Oh, I'm so sorry about the background humming, that's my fridge. I'm not saying that it's easy to drop the absorbed responsibilities. Chances are, if you start dropping absorbed responsibilities, you're going to create conflict in another area because somebody is rather expecting you to carry those responsibilities. The expectations are there, but you can make a choice about them. And as I say, next episode, we're going to delve into that one. It's going to be juicy. There, I kicked my fridge. Regardless of what is expected of you, consistent output is a false standard, and trying to match it leads to burnout. Being responsive to your own fluctuating capacity, that is a powerful choice to make. And let me just say that you are choosing regardless. You're making a choice to stay in a state of overwhelm, or you're making a choice to change your circumstance. Choosing yourself, I think that's the game changer. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about our free mini course, The Burnout Reset. I have burnt out twice, and I'm not talking about I don't feel excited about this anymore, I must be a bit burnt out, that you so often hear about on social media. No, I'm talking about not being able to feel excitement about anything. Extreme anxiety and failing at even simple tasks. Despite being a highly capable woman, I just couldn't cope with anything. If any of that sounds familiar, the Burnout Reset is for you. You see, I learned a lot from my experience. The warning signs of burnout, the symptoms, but more importantly, how to actually heal and come back to yourself afterwards. In the Burnout Reset, you will learn what burnout looks like and what your personal energy thieves are. And you will get a list of small, doable steps to get some energy back that I promise you actually do help. This is how I managed to be a single mom with a medically complex child, work full-time, run 2 online brands, and feel energized instead of overwhelmed. Sign up to the Burnout Reset for free on subscribepage.io/4ATWME, or better yet, just click or copy the link in the description. As a bonus, you will also be signed up to our email list for more connection and support.